And we're live. Hello, this is Tim Owen and Beloved Miracles, coming to you from Fevik, Norway, and building a bridge all the way to the Eagle's Nest Mountains outside Porto de Mos, Portugal. Welcome, Rui and Melissa.
Hey Tim, how are you, man? And
so good to be here with you guys.
It's very warm here. You know, Portugal is very warm.
You know this, Tim. You know this.
The warmth of your hearts is what we here in Norway, we really need some of that right now, and I think others around the world. So I look forward to how you'll share it with us. Let me offer a brief introduction. Melissa and Rui are a couple on a mission, and after fighting and winning the war on personal scarcity, they created a community devoted to helping people reach their full potential as human beings in every way. As they say, to be rich of everything, including money. So share with us the story of this, Rui and Melissa.
Well, when I started to I had $45 in my pocket, and the bank account way under zero. You know? Like temperatures way below, and that was hard because we have four daughters. And we can manage to put food on the table sometimes, and we have to rely on other people's help and stuff. And Melissa sometimes had to add water to the milk, so we always bought the
whole milk. We always bought whole milk, so I could, in case of emergency, I could dilute it. Yeah, so you get very creative. We get very creative with a lot of things.
And like, how many meals did you cook with one chicken?
Yeah, I can right now. I could teach you how to get 12 meals out of one chicken.
Wow,
so that's a skill that you pick up.
That's badass.
Very quickly.
That's badass. So we had to go through all that and find the system, and there was really no plan B. This thing at work, because I had no other choice. So when it came to my life, I didn't really have to make an effort to say yes and to start working, because I had no choice. And sometimes I learned that's the better way to start. No plan B. So
yeah, we never really had a plan B. We had a vision of what we wanted our lives to be like, raise our children, and what values we wanted to instill in them. And the best way to teach children is to show them. So it was hard because we for many years we struggled to find a system that would allow us to live the life that we dreamed of and raise our children the way we wanted to, because I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And he had to make enough money to support a fairly large family. So and still be able to not sacrifice his quality time with his children, not be working, from 7 a.m. to midnight every day. So it was which he did for many years, and even so, we never had enough money for basic needs. I'm not talking about extravagance. I'm talking about basic needs. We were always lacking some money for basic needs, but we never really let it affect our dream. Our dream continued the same, even though we kept on getting knocked down, we'd get up again. And even though sometimes the people we love the most would say, maybe you should rethink your plan, this is not working, it hasn't been working, it never works, all these things that you're trying, it never works. But we never gave up on our dream.
You should find a job.
Yeah.
I heard this.
Yeah, you should find a real job. A real job. And I shouldn't be home with my children. I was being irresponsible, staying home with my girls. That was very irresponsible of me. This is what I was hearing, because you're not helping your husband and you're not giving your girls good examples as a mother or as a woman, because women should go out into the world and work, and you want them to be young and independent. And so, you have to deal with all these things, and they're all valid opinions, but they're not my opinion. And it's my opinion that counts, and Rui's opinion. And we were on the same page. This is very important.
Yeah.
We were both on the same page, and we both wanted the same things.
Yeah. So when this thing came into our lives, there was really no choice. I had no choice, and I was making at the time maybe not always, but around 1,000 euros a month. working as a graphic designer, and but not always. I had months with 500. I had months with nothing, with making no money at all. So it's like that when you have your own business. Very well, and it can go very wrong. And I did have some months too with making like 5,000 in 1 month. That happened too. So that was not enough, and that was very hard just to get home and see the kids when they were already sleeping. And this went on for a long time. Even weekends, I worked every weekend for years.
Yeah.
So this was the circumstances we had. So as you see, no choices. When you see something that people say, okay, this, a good friend of mine tell me this, with this system, you can make €1,000 a day. And I don't know, I believe him. And that was a strange thing because that was so absurd that was impossible.
Yeah, we didn't think it was possible.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't know anybody that made so much money. So nobody. So we couldn't ask for directions from anybody, except I'm going after this. If it's possible, I will do it. And we started to work like crazy, like 16 hours a day, which I used to do before. So that was not a big deal for me.
Yeah.
But this time I was on a mission. Right? I was determined to get to €1,000 a day. So I put up this plan, this 90 days plan, and start work and make 34 something, €100 my first month. That was triple my income at the time. So I got excited. This is October. I got very excited. This thing is working. This thing is working. And then again in November, around the same amount. And then again in December, around the same amount. We were very happy. And that Christmas was the first in many years that we managed to buy gifts and stuff for the girls and have like a normal Christmas. Okay?
Yes.
That was cool.
Less stress.
That was cool. That was
Christmas
cool.
was stressful.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
But by the end of 3 months, I made in total around $13,000 and not 1,000 a day. So I was happy, but not satisfied at all. This is not growing as fast as I want. And definitely it's not growing as fast as I need. So I had to make a few choices. And that was the second part of the plan that at the time we didn't know. I had to work in a different way. I didn't have a system. I was working myself, doing stuff like crazy. But I really didn't have a system to help me share the vision, share tools, implement stuff together with other people, take advantage of other people's skills and resources. And then much later, I learned all of this, but at the time I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And I really didn't know nobody that was making 30,000 a month, meaning 1,000 a day. So I went to Austin, Texas. At the time, as you know, when somebody doesn't have money, all the money comes, it's like a drop of water in dry sand. You know? Disappears in 2 seconds.
It evaporates.
So it evaporates. And we were making some money, but you know,
so many needs needed to
be. It was like nothing.
Yeah.
It was like nothing. It's just we were blessed and we were happy, but the money was coming and disappearing in 2 seconds. Okay, so I didn't have any money to go to the United States and pay the trip and hotel in Austin, Texas, to stay there for a week for this 4-day event. So we had to make another again this kind of choices, like I did before when I started. With 45 euros in my pocket and no money in my bank account.
Yeah. So do we buy groceries or
should I go to the event?
Yeah. So
we had to make this kind of choices several times, or pay your electric bill or go to the event.
Yeah.
So we managed to not pay a few bills and take off. And I went to Austin, leaving just enough for Melissa to be able to eat and the girls. And a few bills to be paid, and here I go. So there I met actually in Austin I met a few leaders that were making much more money than that, like 50,000, 70,000, 100,000. And I met them. I was used to see them online on videos like this, and they were gods for me. Like I thought those guys is like TV stars or something, or rock star, and they were there, So it was very interesting for me to be able to meet them and to see that they were not any different from me in any way. And when I came back, I was very excited.
He was very excited.
So,
excited guy.
Yeah, I realized
lots of plans.
I realized that I could do this because they were different from me. They didn't know anything more than I did, but they did do things in a different way. They were using systems in a different way, so they can scale their efforts. You can work less and produce more. So I came to Portugal with all these ideas in my mind. I couldn't sleep. I came the 23rd. It's like you say, 23rd of January, and I was making at that time, about that date, I was making around $3,400 that month. It would be a month like the others, but then because I went to this event and I learned a few stuff about systems and how to use them, I was able to make $7,000 in 7 days. So that January was the first time in my life I made over $10,000 in 1 month. And I see this thing works.
Yeah.
You know? I was happy. You know? I was in the right path. And then because I was in the right path, I went again in February. I went again to another event in the United States. And I finished the February with $15,000. And then in March, $34,000, just in March. And so it took me 6 months to make $1,000 a day, and a lot of struggles in the way.
Yeah, a lot of learning along the way.
A lot of growth. And Melissa was, as we used to say, como é que é segurar as pontas?
It's holding down the fort.
Holding down the fort. And that's the thing. So I was able to put all my energy in the system and working and understanding and making money and bringing people and selling stuff and have commissions. And then other people saying the same, because I created a team with 3,000 people in this period. So, and a lot of people was sharing their stories, and we started to make a big impact. So all of this, I had to learn it really fast, like in 3 months. I had to grow and step into this space that was open to me, and I was able to do that because Melissa was holding the fort. So I don't do anything around the house. She has the tools. She repairs appliances. She changes light bulbs, and I'm the
plumber. I'm the electrician.
She does everything.
I do everything.
And she takes care of the house and takes care of.
I make sure everybody's okay.
Of all of us.
Yeah.
Cooks like a goddess, and it makes these incredible things, and really hold the family together, and was able to release me from being paying attention to this. So I was dedicating myself entirely to the plan and to the business, and that was awesome, because after I reached that income goal, like 2 or 3 months later, I crossed the $1,000 mark in my business. So that changed a lot for me. I realized that not only that I made it, I made this thing work. I was happy and proud because of that, but because we understood that we had more money that we can spend. And
that was a new feeling.
That was something completely new.
That was interesting.
Yeah, we have a few stories about this. I think when you have your brain, your mind is filled like 90% of it with debt or problems, and that's the way it is for a long time, for years and years and years and years. and suddenly you are aware that those problems are not there anymore. You simply don't have them. They're solved. The moment you have this awareness, it's like you become like empty. There's nothing there.
Yeah, you have to reinvent yourself. There's an adjustment period there.
That was the most interesting times, like the superhero without the villain, So what do I do now? What do I do now? So I didn't know what to do.
Answer that question, yeah. And you've got stories to share along those lines.
Yeah. Well, one day I told Melissa to grab the credit card and go and buy everything. What for years, like everybody, we have these things in our heads, like, oh, my mom needs a new chair, a new bed because she's old and she doesn't feel good, and her mom was talking about a long time going to Italy, and well, you need a lot of stuff like computers at the house and stuff.
Appliances. Yeah. We went out. It was like, I want that one and I want that one.
not looking at the price tag,
Yeah.
So we bought a fridge that costed as much as a car, and all these things because we didn't care about the price. We just wanted to have the things. Those things were denied to us for a long time. So I did it. I told Melissa, you go out and you buy all those things that we have here stuck in our throat for so many years. And she did. And
what was that like for you, Melissa, that transition at that point in time?
That, like I said, that was a period of adjustment for me because I was so used to living in scarcity. And I mean, even I remember going to the fridge and planning my meals and thinking, no, I can't use all of the peppers because then I might need a pepper for another meal or whatever I was looking at. So and then I'd find myself thinking, wait a minute, I can just go and buy more. That's not a problem. I don't have to make it stretch until, I can just go and buy more chicken, whatever, So that for me was a very important, it took such a load, because that's one of the main concerns is providing, it's not providing all the luxuries for your children, but providing their basic needs. And when you're, that's always being threatened, it conditions you. So you always have like a backup plan, like if I don't have enough here, then I'll go get it there. Or I was always planning ahead, and now I could just open the fridge and make whatever I wanted, or go to the supermarket and, make a special meal, whatever they asked for. That for me, and it's such it sounds really silly, it's such a basic thing, but that was our reality at the time. Like I couldn't, we couldn't splurge on food. We had to, everybody was well fed, but it was a struggle. It was a huge struggle and the main concern for us. So that was, for me, was what made the most difference. All the other things were perks, because we did have a fridge. It was tiny and it was very old, but we worked around that, and that was not a problem. A problem is opening the fridge. It doesn't matter what size it is, and there's nothing in there. That's a problem, you see. So everything sort of it was an awakening for me, and a huge burden was lifted, and I felt that I could breathe and I could sleep easy. It was very important for me in that sense. And once your basic needs are taken care of, then your mind starts to expand, and you realize that we weren't alone, that so many people are in this situation or similar situations. And we felt the need to help other people who were like-minded and in similar situations overcome their needs and find their way, because I believe that everybody should find their way, not necessarily be forced to do things for survival purposes, for cultural purposes, or because your parents think you should do it, or your spouse thinks you should do it, but because you need to do it for you, for your family. And this is the perfect system for that, because you can just be yourself, do what you need to do, and be happy and prosperous while you're doing it, which is ideal, I think.
Yeah, there's always a demand for something. Yeah. One time at the supermarket, I saw this
a jar?
A jar with rice cooked inside. Remember that?
Yeah, cooked rice in a jar.
that's just plain cooked
Just plain rice, yeah.
I saw that there. It costs like €1.50 or something. And I was counting things in my head. That's like a tablespoon of rice. And if I go for a kilo with that, a kilo of that rice will cost like €50 a kilo or €60 a kilo. And somebody is buying rice €50 a kilo. So there is a market for everything. I was just saying that okay, there's people everywhere with money to spend in anything. So that was something interesting for me. Then I realized that the things that I know today are valuable for somebody else. And I'm not the only one. I started to work with team members and understanding the value that they already have. They don't need to learn anything. What they already know, the value that they already have, they just need a system to convert that into money.
Yeah, to share it.
So we started to set this thing up, how to transform ideas into money. We start to put the pieces together. That's why we have the system that we all use, and it works so good that after I crossed that $1,000 mark, I went to talk to my friend and told him that I have all this extra money that I don't need, and I want to give it for charity. And this guy, he was always involved in these kind of things. And then he joined the team and he started his own business with us, very prosperous. He was over the $30,000 a month mark many times too. And with this guy, we started this thing called GAS. It's a non-profit that we started. And lots of people from the team started to make money and to put their excess money. Okay, excess. It's not excess. It's just money. But the most money that they could into this system, this non-profit, this organization, to go and help other people. So we had 3 missions in Africa, where we took 23 cars and 7 ambulances. We are sponsoring 2 orphanages in Benin. Now we are starting to help a few schools in Mozambique also. And around here in Portugal, we make stuff all the time. Right now, we are buying all the Christmas gifts for this rescue center for kids. So we asked them for the list, like the Santa's list, and they all sent the list. So now we know what to buy. And we are gathering money to go next week and buy everything for them. And this is a little like giving back, but it's only possible because you have a system that makes enough money for us to be able to free our minds and start thinking on other people, like in other couples or other entrepreneurs or other people that don't have the same opportunity as we did. Mm-hmm. So, and that's, you said it in the beginning, that's a mission, that's our mission. So that's why we are here, and that's why we do what we do. Yeah.
I could listen and listen and listen to the stories and the examples and
talk like forever, you know.
You have impacted so many, and that is why I've asked you to share in further extending this message. I feel it deep in my heart that you guys are such a shining star example to other couples in terms of what's possible. And to go through the difficulties that you've gone through and to reach deep and find both you, Melissa, in the role that you played in Rui, and then in the shared role bridged between the two of you as a couple and as parents to your children and your family. There's just great hope in the world every time I connect with you guys.
And yesterday we went out and we
got our matching tattoos.
Our matching tattoo rings. There you go. There you go.
So I see it clearly. Yeah.
These are our wedding rings that are engraved in our skin. So this is no shit. No shit wedding. Okay. This is a permanent thing. Yeah. And we are in it forever. You know? And like not only in our wedding, but also in our mission.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Who we are.
Yeah. We have the same values. We support each other. Sometimes we support each other even if we don't agree with each other.
And that's a big thing, yes. Not sometimes, we support each other all the time.
Yeah.
Even if we don't agree with each other.
We support each other all the time, but sometimes we don't agree. It's easy to support someone you agree with, right? When you agree with what they're doing. When you don't agree with what they're doing, then it's a little bit harder. But, it's unconditional love, and that's what unconditional means. So if you love someone, you have to love all of them. And sometimes they're going to make mistakes, and sometimes things will go wrong, and that's fine because that's part of the learning process. And, you have that right. We all do. And you have to support that in your partner. So as long as you both are striving for your main goal is the same and you both have the same values, then, it's easy. As long as you just remember that this is part of the whole process. It's a process. And you really grow during that process because you learn to let go of, you learn to let go of the need for control. You don't control things, or most things, and you certainly don't control your partner. All you can do is work together and support each other and in every circumstance.
You were reading my mind, because that was the next question I was going to ask as we wrap this up is, what advice would you give to other couples building something together? Is there any more in addition to what you just said that you would add to that advice?
Yeah, I think people sometimes they don't work well together, especially couples, but because they are looking at each other all the time. And when you start looking to a person all the time, you see everything. And you focus on, because we are humans, and we tend to focus on the negative. So where people are together, especially couples, and they work together, they tend to start to see the bad things and to see them bigger. And my advice is stop looking at each other and start looking together in the same direction. And that's doing this, you will be there and you see there are flaws, and you see but because you're looking the same direction, you tend to see more of the good stuff.
And I agree. Yeah.
And
not have expectations of your partner. Like you expect your partner to do so and so. You shouldn't expect anything from anybody. You should just encourage what they're doing and support them when they're doing it. And if both of you do that all the time, there's no problem. Really.
Yeah, I see that.
Yes. He was supposed to send that email and he didn't send that email, and now I'm mad at him. Like, go out, write the email, and say, you know what, I did that email for you. And he'll say, oh yeah, that's great, thanks a lot. So when you forget to do something or fail at something, then he'll have that attitude as well, because that's what you did, because we learn from imitation, right? So if you just lose the expectations and the judgment, then it's a lot easier. It's a lot,
Lose the judgment.
Yeah, lose the judgment. It's not a good thing. And don't forget to have fun together. That's really important. When you work together all the time, you got to get out of the work mode and go into fun mode. We do that a lot.
Yes, even though we don't actually work together, because she does one thing, I do other thing. We're not together working, but we're together all day,
all the time.
So we see each other like every 15, 20 minutes for something. And sometimes we decide to go. The last time, or last week or the week before, we decided to go to the movies. So let's go to the movies. We go often to the movies, and we love that VIP movie experience that you already know too.
Which was fun, right?
And we decided to go to the movies, and we were choosing the movie, and Melissa was saying, well, I like this one. Oh, I also like that one. I also like that one. And I was saying, well, we have to choose. And suddenly, we don't have to choose. We can see them all. So we managed to start at 2 in the afternoon and finish by midnight. And we went and we saw 4 different movies. And it was the movie marathon. Then we started to be known at the place by the movie marathon guys.
Yeah,
because we did it twice already.
Because it was fun.
And you go there on a Thursday afternoon, because I make my own hours. I don't have a boss, and we can decide these stupid things like this and have fun together and do these things, like get matching tattoos.
Yeah, but you have to plan these things, otherwise you get sucked into the working,
Yeah.
and you have to make plans and, include your family and start new traditions, It's important to be mindful of this because it can slip away from you very, very quickly.
Yeah, the focus slips very easily to work. I've done that for many years, working like 16 to 18 hours a day, not seeing my kids ever.
Yeah, that's not good.
And that sucks, not good. Alrighty, so
Fantastic.
this is the advice.
If people wanted to touch in with you, especially with the mission work that you're doing, what would you suggest is the best way to connect with you?
Oh, if you go online and you connect with me, if you write Rui Gabriel, my name, on Google, well, I'm there. The first few pages, it's all about me because there are not a lot of people with my name. So it's a name very easy to remember. And about the charity work and nonprofit, if you connect with me through that or ruigabriel.com, if you go there, or even in Facebook, if you search for Rui Gabriel, you'll find me, and I can direct you in the proper direction.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Rui.
You're welcome.
You're very welcome, Tim.
You are shining star examples. I've said it 2 or 3 times now, but that's truly the magnitude of how I experience you. I mean, you are a light to the world, and anyone listening and tuning into this, I'm sure, can hear it as clearly as I have. It just leaves me almost speechless listening to you, what you've come through, really what you've overcome, and now what you're an example to others, which is what I'm hoping what we're sharing here will do. It will be an example to others of what they can overcome. Because as you know, I like to say, together we overcome.
Yes, very important. It's together. You can't do anything on your own. Well, you can, but if you really want to make a difference in your life, you have to do things together. You start off as a couple and then you branch out.
And we have a system, as you've exemplified, that allows each of us to do that. I mean, that system, I have to throw in, is what brought us together. I would never probably have even crossed paths with you guys until implementing this system that you're implementing, which brought us together. So
you're right. We are living very exciting times.
Yes, we are.
Very exciting times. Brand new stuff coming out, and new people with new ideas all the time. People that used to think in the old way now think in a new way.
That's right.
And they realize they can be their own bosses. They can steer their own life wherever they want. And as people are aware of this, they start to look out for systems or for people to be able to help them. And that's where we fit. That's who you are, that's who we are, and that's what our mission is.
Fantastic. Thank you. And I look forward to how we can touch in with you in the future and find out what adventures you're on next in these regards.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Signing off from Norway, because together we really, truly do overcome.
Goodbye from Portugal.
Goodbye.
Lots of love.
Bye-bye, guys.